WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Awesome Radio, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Today we have two guests, Miss Laura Hensley and Miss Cynthia Harris. Miss Laura Hensley is the author of Mommy's Red Hat, but we're not going to discuss that today. Rather, we're going to focus on 5 things brain survivors wish their caregivers and loved ones knew. Apostle Jackie.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are so happy to be here and so happy for our guests to be on. We do have the lovely Miss Laura Hensley, and we also have Cynthia Harris, who hasn't come on yet, but she should pop up on here and be here. I am so excited. I have met the lovely Laura Hensley before and interviewed her in the past, and I did receive a signed copy of her book.
Yep.
And I just want to say thank you. I really love that, and sharing it with my grandchildren. I really treasure when someone, gives us something and goes out of their way to, and she signed it. I was so blessed by that.
You was thrilled.
I was, because, I know, Dr. Glenn, let me just say this, and I know it's off subject, but I don't meet celebrities or people, that write and do things. I mean, and I have 2 books now just from being on this platform. To me, it's like a big thing. Wow. That person has signed that book and they've given it to me. I feel like, this is a personal signature. I just feel like they're celebrities. I know they may not be as far as, how this world says it, but I just believe in giving honor to whom honor is due. And so I was stoked when I got that book. I was like, I was so tickled.
And unlike celebrities, that book and that signature is more valuable because it's something that talks about life.
Oh yeah, and like I said, to see them, I was blessed by it. So I just want to tell you, thank you, Miss Laura. That book was just very special to me. It just brought a joy to my heart. It brought our joy to my heart to get a signed copy. Nobody signs anything for me. I don't go to book signings, and to receive that copy, it was good. It was just good to my soul.
I know, because I was here when you received it, and I thought you was going to jump through the ceiling. By the way, we do have Miss Cynthia joining us now, but we're going to start with Miss Laura Hensley. Then we'll get to Miss Cynthia Harris.
Okay. Yes, Miss Laura.
Let me add her to the broadcast.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead
Hi.
and even though Miss Cynthia Harris is being brought on, I'm going to introduce Miss Laura Hensley, and I'm going to let her have the floor for a minute just to tell us a little bit about herself and to refresh us, our audience, on how she received her TBI. And I don't want to say received it or how she acquired it. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Laura.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the invite, Dr. Glenn. And
Yes,
Apostle
ma'am.
Jacqueline. I feel very privileged.
It's an honor to have you.
Definitely. It's an honor to have you again.
Thank
By
y'all
the
for
way-
allowing me to share.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm interested in what you want to talk about. The 5 things brain survivors wish their caregivers and loved ones knew, particularly the caregivers, because, you know, on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, there's Dr. Kay Renner, who's caring for the carers. So I attended sometime, but I missed the last one. I want to join the next one and talk about some of the things that you're going to talk about. And I hope you join as well. Tuesdays at 11 o'clock.
So you're going to tell us today 5 things or some things that brain injury survivors wish their caregivers or loved ones knew. So you tell us, what should the loved ones know about taking care of someone or dealing with? I mean, just tell us and let us know what we should know.
Well, what I have observed from being a social worker and my own experience later as a survivor, I saw family getting very frustrated because things would happen and it didn't make sense. It's hard to see that loved one and they're so different from what you've always known. And one of the things that I observed is that I wanted to tell my husband how much I appreciated his sacrifices, but I was not able to say it. And I've seen many caregivers say, well, they don't care. They just take us for granted. And not realizing maybe that survivor doesn't know how to say that. We really see the sacrifices. And
I'm sorry. And speaking
no,
of that,
please continue.
Speaking of that, do you feel that caregivers feel a sense of going out of their way to do extraordinary things when they could be doing other things?
Yes. And that honestly comes to number 2, which survivors want our loved ones to take care of themselves and take time for themselves. We may not say that. But
Exactly.
it's very important that the caregiver take time for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one reason why Dr. Kay Renner hosts or facilitate caring for the carers, because this should be care for the carers as well, so they won't feel burdened and burnt out.
Yeah.
Use that word, burnt out. Is that a good word for that?
There's a lot of guilt because I remember being independent and being able to give back what I felt was equal to my husband. And then I got to the point where I felt like a dependent.
Yeah. Now we have 2 minutes to go before we go to the break. Cynthia, if you can hear us, do you have any input on that?
Yes, I agree.
Hey, wait a minute, Dr. Glenn. We need to introduce her to the platform and bring her up.
All right, well, we got 1 minute to go, so let's just get her to answer the question.
Okay.
I do believe that a lot of times caregivers don't feel like they get the recognition, and survivors they do not like to feel like they're being a burden to their loved ones. So I think like caregivers do need to take time to self-care so they won't get burned out.
Right, I figured that word burnt out was somewhere associated with that.
Yes.
Apostle.
Hey, I just wanted to take a little time and introduce Cynthia Harris properly. And we just want to welcome you to the show, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. This is my first time meeting you, and I just wanted to say that I'm blessed to meet you, Cynthia. I saw a little bit of your story here, and we're going to definitely ask you some things. We're getting ready to go out on our first break here, though, and we will come back and we'll talk back more with both of you ladies, because I'm interested in those comments about what caregivers should know, because I recently became a caregiver myself. And so you're going to teach me today. I'm excited about hearing what you have to say, and I'm excited about this particular subject on today. Hey, if you want to call in, you can call in to the station, and you want to ask these lovely ladies something today, or you have a comment, you can call and comment. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, and you're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We will be back in a moment.
Awesome Radio.
I am Miss Mary Cox from Killer Pippin's mother from Awesome Radio.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you feel it. Awesome. Awesome.
You want to say yes. Yes to hosting the baby shower. Yes to celebrating the bride. Yes to gathering the family. Yes to starting that small class or Bible study. But your home just doesn't have the space. That's where Footprints Event and Conference Center comes in. Not a big event hall, not overwhelming. Just a cozy, comfortable space created for meaningful moments. A perfect space for baby showers, bridal showers, birthday celebrations, small classes, workshops, and intimate gatherings. When your heart is ready to host, but your home simply isn't big enough. Conveniently located at 304 Evans Street in Greenville, North Carolina, let your yes become possible. For details, call 252-412-3169. That's 252-412-3169. Footprints Event Center, where every step becomes a memory.
Hello, my name is Daniel from Greenville. We appreciate you for listening to Awesome Radio.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you feel it. Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Apostle, if you don't mind, I'd like to play our one and only audio clip on Brain Injury Awareness Month before we get back to Miss Cynthia Harris and Miss Laura Hensley.
Awareness Month. Most people have an understanding of what a traumatic brain injury is. Typically, brain injuries are acquired in accidents or sports-related activities. 1.5 million to 3.5 million people suffer some form of brain injury every single year in the United States. Over 5 million people are living with permanent brain injury deficits that are impacting their lives and causing disability. The odds are pretty good that you may know somebody who has suffered a traumatic brain injury and maybe has recovered most of their function, but they might be living with some effects of that injury even today. During Brain Injury Awareness Month, take a moment to learn a little bit about traumatic brain injury.
Okay, that was our one and finally audio clip. I'm going to give it back over to Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams and our guests, Miss Cynthia Harris and Miss Laura Hensley. Apostle.
Oh, it looks like Miss Cynthia is not there. She is. She just popped back on. And I definitely had a few questions for you, Miss Laura. We're going to come back with you and have you to finish those caregiver things because you gave us three, but I'd like to hear some more. I'd like you to finish the five. But I want to say to Miss Cynthia, I was reading a little bit of your story here, and I see that one of the things that it says here is that you live with other, you're under where you live with other people that help to take care of you, and it's outside of family, from what I
Yes.
understand. Yes, from some of the local agencies that help, find people that need extra help that they'll find, and you'll be able to go and live in the home with them. Tell us a
Yes,
little
ma'am.
bit. First, let me ask you, because I didn't see on the paperwork how you acquired your TBI.
Okay. So I am a 6 year survivor of traumatic brain injury. I acquired my TBI in a car accident. I was
Okay.
on my way to work, leaving Durham headed to Raleigh. I'm a single mother. Was working three jobs. So I was on my way to a group home job. I had just left my mom's house from watching her claim for her. So I don't know if I was distracted or what, but I wasn't wearing my seatbelt and I hit another car and I was only one hurt in the car accident. I was in the car by myself.
Wow, that is something. And then you mentioned that you have children. How many children? And then I want to know the effects of your TBI on your family dynamics. If you live with someone now, what happened to the children as a result
Okay.
of your injury?
Okay. So my kids were at the time 12 and I think 8 or 9. And so I have a 18-year-old daughter now and a 15-year-old daughter. And I have a 2-year-old granddaughter. But because I live in what's called alternative family living home, which is also known as AFL. So it's similar to like a group home, but it's more independent living. So I rent a room from my caregivers and they help me with such things as like taking medication, making sure that I'm safe, that I'm in a good environment, and that I'm being treated with all my daily needs, such as shelter, food, and housing.
Yes,
Hey,
I do.
Cynthia.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Dr. Glenn.
Cynthia, I just want to say, I'm reading your report, and you mentioned you was not wearing a seatbelt. But I just want to mention briefly, I am glad that you wasn't wearing a seatbelt. You know, wearing a seatbelt is something that we're instructed to wear or have buckled up at all times. But a seatbelt could be most dangerous than anything. For instance, we have another brain injury survivor. She acquired her brain injury because she was wearing a seatbelt when she was struck by a car head on, went through the windshield. The seatbelt severed her almost half in two. All of her insides was resting on her lap, and she was paraplegic for quite a while. They thought she was never ever gonna walk again, but about 2 years ago, I met her, and she was walking unassisted. So I'm so glad that you wasn't wearing the seatbelt.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. It has its pros and cons because yes, I was thrown through the windshield. I went through having a trach in my throat to not having a trach in my throat. I had a feeding tube in my stomach for me to be able to eat. I started off in a wheelchair, then I went from a wheelchair to a walking stick to a cane. Now I don't use anything at all. Um, I still suffer with balance issues sometimes, but it's getting like better. And my right side was affected in the car accident, meaning I have trouble with my mobility with my arm and in my leg. So what I have to do to help be able to use those ligaments is I have to get Botox injections in my right arm and right leg every 3 months.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And some things you just shared is almost similar to my story. I went from not walking at all. I wasn't able to walk when I came out of the coma. I
Yeah.
went from a wheelchair to a walker to a cane and then unassisted.
Gotcha.
So it can
Uh,
happen just like it happened.
okay, thank you. Apostle, did you have any questions for me?
Oh, I think I had asked you about your children. So you said you have one that's 18. Were you,
Yes.
because I know one is an adult now, so you're not as responsible for that one. But the other one, did you have to allow someone else to care for your children while you were going through this?
Yes. So I gave temporary custody to my best friend. So my 15-year-old lives with her in Roxborough.
Okay.
And then go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's a blessing that you had someone to help you in that
Yes.
situation. I know a lot of people, they're able to, or their family is so close until they're able to keep their children, but not everybody is able to care for the children. And that's why I think it's important to hear your story as well, because those are
Hmm.
difficulties and those are things that are as a result of the traumatic brain injury.
Yes. But also sometimes family is not always good either. Um And like what I kind of went through with mine was more so like, well, I won't even say with my family per se. I'll say with my mother because she feels like she was a parent that stepped up to help me when I got into my accident. She tries to make me feel guilty a lot. And I don't know what else to say. Like I said, thank you to us thousands of times. But it's to the point that, I just can't deal with her anymore and I haven't been talking to her like that.
Hey, Cynthia and Miss Lauren, we're getting ready to go out on another break, and I'm all
Okay.
in. I'm all interested in what you're telling us, and I think 1,000 questions popped up concerning your situation when you began to tell us. But we're going to have to go out on this break, and we'll be right back with you after this break. And so I want us to hang on in there because I know you're leaning to that radio and that television to hear these stories and hear what is happening in their life and how they have triumphed and how they're victorious over their TBI and what the way that life handled them. Hey, this is the Glenn Johnson Show, and you're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio, and we will be back in a moment. Back in a moment.
It's March Madness, but this time it's not about basketball. It's about your business. This month at LJPK Business Center, we're calling it March Madness because opportunities like this don't last forever. If you've been working from your kitchen table, meeting clients in coffee shops, or praying for a space to finally call your own, this is your moment. Professional office space, conference room access, private parking in downtown Greenville. Located at 210 South Washington Street, it's conveniently located near the Pitt County Courthouse. No pressure, no chaos. Just a clean, professional environment designed to help you win. Whether you're launching something new, rebuilding, or ready to level up, LJPK Business Center is where serious entrepreneurs make serious moves. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Make your move. For details, call 252-420-1355. Because in business, the real win is having a place to grow.
Hello, my name is Dr. Wiley Nifong. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline. We do have two guests on today. We have Cynthia Harris, which is a newcomer. We're excited about her story, but we have a veteran, Miss Laura Hensley, and we don't want to leave her out. So, with 30 more minutes to go, I'm going to let Apostle handle both of those ladies and get them both in today. Apostle.
Yes, Miss Laura, I'm going to switch back over to you, but hang on there, Cynthia. I will be back over with your story. So, Miss Laura, I think at the beginning of the show, we did not ask you how you acquired your traumatic brain injury, just to refresh our audience on today. Can you tell us?
My car accident was very similar to Cynthia's. And Cynthia, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I had
Thank
an
you.
accident at an intersection. You're welcome. At an intersection. I didn't see the light turn red and was T-boned by another vehicle. They were going about 55 miles an hour, and it was a direct hit. But thank God I was the only one that was hurt. So I still have, even at almost 15 years, still have a lot of motion sickness, tendency to have accidents, like falls and things. And so I can say from the wheelchair and all of the rehab and everything that you've gone through, Cynthia, things do continue to improve. The biggest challenge for me is trying to help caregivers and loved ones understand how much the relationship changes. And the number 4 thing I wanted to share is exactly what you mentioned, Cynthia, which is that guilt trips, anger, and frustration does not address the situation or make the situation better. And caregivers think, I've had caregivers tell me this, well, if I just shake them and tell them how mad I am, they'll change. That's not how the brain injury works.
That's right.
And I've had to explain to caregivers that the anger and that kind of thing probably makes it harder, because no one would wish to be in this situation. No one would want to put their family through this. And then the guilt trip makes it a lot harder. I mean, would you agree, Cynthia?
Yes, ma'am, I would. Because even now, I find myself always feeling like guilty whenever my kids just ask for random stuff. I just give it to them instead of like making them stick to their budgets.
I do that too.
And Ms. Laura, may I just mention, I think your family and friends should be aware of the fact that when your accident occurred, there was divine intervention, because getting T-boned, I'm pretty sure your prognosis could have been quite different. So I know there was divine intervention.
Yeah, the state trooper, yes, came on the accident and got out the fatality report because he'd never seen anybody survive it. And then when he was informed I was still alive, he was very surprised. And I did get to talk to him after, and he looked at me like I was a ghost. I said, why is he looking at me so funny? And then he told me.
Yeah, because they didn't think you were supposed to come out of that wreckage. But you did. Thank God.
Thank God. I want to give God praise for that. Absolutely.
Amen.
He's the reason we're all have a voice today. And what I did want to say is I wish caregivers looked for our new strengths
Right.
And the smiles and the patient encouragement is the greatest treasure that they could give us and we could give back to them.
Yeah, I think the caregivers should not look at the disability, but look at the ability.
And that's hard because I've had caregivers say to me, well, you should be better by now. I liked you as you were. And that is so hard. And my friend, especially, she said, this was a loss to me. I lost the person I wanted my husband to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. I didn't know how to, except to say, he has new strengths now, and let's really work on finding those. And it did give her a new perspective.
Yeah.
And if your mom sees the new strengths that you have, you're more resilient, you don't give up, you're courageous. Dr. Glenn, all the things that you face, would you have ever thought before that either of you could have survived this?
I would never have thought that. And one thing I want to mention is that they should also not focus on the past, what used to be, but what is now.
Yeah.
What you
Can I say something? All right, so she tells me that she's so proud of me of all my achievements I've had since my accident and all this yada yada yada, but her actions show elsewise. Like it's to the point where like toxic behavior I didn't want it around me even more so in the new year. Um I stay in church because God is what keeps me sane, just
Yeah.
dealing with life in general. And me being a big TBI advocate and a disability advocate has opened so many doors for me as far as both personally and professionally. So
Well said.
I will say that my my TBI is a gift
Yeah.
Wow.
And Cynthia,
because a
Cynthia,
lot of people view it as a curse, but I think it's a gift. Go ahead, Dr. Glenn. I'm sorry.
yeah, I just want to tell
That's
you, you mentioned
amazing.
going to church. And because of my situation, and I had always attended church, growing up in a family that was Christian, and my grandfather was a pastor, so we went to church more than anything. But now, I go to church more than I ever have in my entire life.
Okay. That's
Good.
very good. You know,
Fantastic.
yeah. I'm made up in my mind because God spared my life. I was going to serve him even more.
Oh.
I agree.
Cynthia, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
What would you say is the one issue that comes up more often than anything else? Like
I
between
was
you and your mom?
okay. Um.
Hey, Cynthia, we're going to have to go out on another break here. I am so sorry to pause it,
Okay, that's
but
fine.
we have to do what we have to do. And once we are done with this break, we're going to hear your issue. And look, Miss Laura, you just don't take over here. We're the host, and we ask the questions. I'm just kidding, Miss Laura. That was a great question, and I'm interested in hearing it. Hey.
Sorry.
So, hey, to our listening audience, we want you to hang in there because Ms. Laura has asked a wonderful question, and we're going to hear that answer from Cynthia when we come back from this break. We want you to know that this is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams, and you're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We have a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Awesome Radio Network is gearing up for our annual Mother's Day and Father's Day gift bag giving for the residents at McGregor Downs Health Center. $10 will sponsor one bag. If you would like to donate towards this community event, contact us 252-756-3137. And together we can show the love of Jesus, encourage and brighten the hearts of the residents during their stay at the McGregor Downs Health Center, Greenville. Donor's name, organization can be attached to the cards if desired. To learn more about this annual community event, contact us at 252-756-3137. That's 252-756-3137. We are a 501c3 organization under Community Care Fellowship doing business as Awesome Radio Network, where God gets the glory.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Awesome Radio. 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WNOS, 1450 AM, 102.3 FM, New Bern, WYLT, LP, 100.3, Rocky Mount, WBIS, LP, 106.9, Espelio, Winterville. We have reached our final 20 minutes of the broadcast, so I'm going to give it back over to the ladies. Apostle Jacqueline Williams,
Yes.
Cynthia Harris, and Miss Laura Hensley. Apostle.
Thank you so much, Miss Laura, for asking that question and asking Cynthia that question. We're going to let her answer that. What is the biggest problem between you and your mom? And I wanted you also, Miss Cynthia, to tell us a few things that you would like caregivers to know.
Okay. I would say the biggest issue with me and my mom is she feels like because she's older, she knows everything. And related to like the disability world, she does not have a clue about what is expected. And like whenever she sent things for her to sign, she drags her feet. So therefore my services get delayed or denied. So I'm getting ready to get her taken off from being my guardian because it's just a mess. And the last time I was at her house, I took a video of her like behavior and I sent it to my care managers because she fought me while I was holding my granddaughter. Simply because I asked her a question, could my daughter wash the couch cushions? Because she was complaining about how they were really dirty. And I bought my daughter an air mattress when she was living with her. And I told her, just take it down every day. If she wants you to take it down, just take it down. And the problem with her is because I stopped giving her money, that's when the issues happen. Like more and more. So because my daughter turned 18, she no longer gets a social security check. So that's what I was taking to pay quote unquote rent for her. Yeah.
And perhaps your mother needs counseling.
And you know, we understand
Yes.
that there's each family dynamic has
Go ahead,
complications.
Apostle. What you say?
I said we understand that, you know, there could be different circumstances and complications for each family dynamic. And, you know, how each family thinks about different things and even mother-daughter relationships. There's a lot of things that I cannot relate to because, you know, some things that people tell or say about their mothers, I have no fellowship with because my mother wasn't like that. So I can understand that there being some issues there, you know, with your mother and everything. And, you know, I don't know her. And I just want to say this over the air, you know, that there are, you know, two sides to every story. And, you know, because we're not getting her side of the way she sees things, I just want to caution us to, you know, I don't know, Mama. And I don't know, you know, so we don't want to look like we're saying, you know, something that's, you know, negative about it. I don't want to, input on that because I know the dynamics of families can be different and people view things differently. And sometimes they may see you give something to somebody else and they feel like they deserve it. And so then it could look like they're after money when it's not. Saw some areas of caretaking where other people were getting the money, but we were doing the work. And I'm like, that really wasn't fair. So it depends on, how people view things and how they see things and everything. Dr. Glenn?
Cynthia, I just want to tell you something that you mentioned. Your mother thinks she knows everything. So I just want to mention this. There's an old saying, about mothers. How you going to get smart with somebody that's already smart?
They're not always right. They're not
No, we
always
love our
right.
mothers.
Every mother is not always right. They're not always right.
Yeah.
They're
That's the point I
not.
want to make. Your mother needs
And
to realize she doesn't know everything.
Yeah, and you don't have to agree with everything that mothers do or say, but just honor her. Honor her
yeah,
as your mother. That's
I
my
mean,
mother.
Yes.
Honor her.
I
That's all you
I
can do.
do, but I have to keep my distance from her, especially when she's been endangering my safety. Because I could have easily fell and hit my head and been in a coma again. Like anything could happen. And the fact that she had nerve to do that in front of my 2-year-old granddaughter, no.
Yeah, well, and I'm not saying that, sometimes people don't lose their temper and they don't know how to regulate, their emotions and things. And sometimes people make mistakes. They go too far. And that happens. It can happen, with not just your mother, anybody's mother. I've been mad enough to give a couple of pals to my
Yeah.
granddaughters.
And
Especially when their mouth has gotten disrespectful.
and
I
Cyn-
mean, I'm telling you.
Cynthia, 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 seriously, I think your mother also needs counseling.
Yes, and that would be a great
Yes.
thing if you could encourage her or both of you
So,
can. You don't have to get close together to do counseling together.
no, I'm gonna tell you about that. We've tried counseling, but you have to be open and honest about what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And she was not willing to do that.
And I've had personally, even from this time on the radio, helped several or mother and daughter to get it together. And sometimes there needs to be forgiveness and to let some things go. And sometimes we don't, parents don't even realize, or the daughters don't even realize that they're holding on to something that needs to be forgiven and let go. So I hope both of you find that common ground and you could just love on each other. I remember one of my sessions, I just made the mother and daughter love on each other. And that broke something, just to love and be family and be in there together. Because one thing about it is that you didn't choose who your family is. God chose.
Right.
And it's not anything that you
Yes,
can
he
change.
did.
Cynthia,
But
Cynthia, you're
yes,
in Charlotte, you're in the Charlotte area. Is your
no,
mother in
I'm
the Charlotte area?
no in Durham.
Durham, okay.
Sure.
Oh, you're already separated. You have some distance.
No, we both live in Durham.
Oh, okay. You both live in Durham, not
Yeah.
Charlotte. But you're on your own, and you're living. You have some people to care for you. Can you tell us some things that you wish that caregivers knew?
Okay. So I really wish that caregivers knew, one, let the individual try things on their own. Don't try to do stuff for them. And please be patient with them. If they tell you they need a minute, let them have that minute. Don't keep poking and prodding at them because then a person gets agitated.
I understand that absolutely. And sometimes people don't know when to pull back and to, like you said, to allow people to do. I mean, you could see how people can be overprotective and just reaching out and say, I don't want you to be injured. I don't want you to be hurt. So I'm just going to do it for you.
Yeah, but then people lose their sense of independency. If you as better, okay, let me give you this perfect example. So I was at the YMCA earlier today. Now, a young lady I talk to all the time, apparently she was having a bad morning. I made a comment simply because I was on the elliptical and she got on the elliptical beside me. But because she was wearing a bathing suit, I didn't want anyone to say to her, "Oh, um,
Cynthia, we
are
have
you
to go out. I'm sorry to interrupt you, and we're going to leave that as a cliffhanger for our last
okay?"
10 minutes, but we're getting ready to go out on one more break, and we will be right back in a few moments, and I want to hear what you have to tell us about that. I'm interested, Dr.
Okay.
Yeah. And this will be our last 10 minutes when we come back from the break.
Yes, and I just want to thank you, ladies, and I hope our listening audience is really enjoying this particular interview, the ins and outs and the things that we're talking about on today. I have to go out on this break. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, and you're listening to us on Awesome Radio. We will be right back in a moment. Right back.
Awesome Radio.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and you're listening to Awesome Radio. Thank you.
Awesome Radio. Yes, awesome.
Health Pro is a licensed home care organization and a trusted provider of in-home care services with skilled nursing and personal care services. When your elderly parents live alone, there are many things that can be done to make general housekeeping and personal care easier. We are located at 408 West Arlington Boulevard, Suite 101C, Greenville. At Health Pro, our services provide a relief for the aging and the disabled population who prefer to recover in the comfort of their homes. Our services expand beyond the normal, and we are currently serving 17 counties in eastern North Carolina. Veteran personal care services, companion care, sitter care, respite care, private pay home care, pediatric adolescent personal care services are just a few of the many services we offer. Health Pro, a local, trusted, leading provider of in-home care services. 252-364-8114. That's 252-364-8114.
Hello, this is Akila speaking here from the Awesome Radio Network. We are your vehicle to help drive the gospel of Jesus throughout all the world and to every creature. If God has placed radio ministry on your heart, we'd love to connect with you. Our number is 252-756-3137. That's 252-756-3137. We are Awesome Radio. We're growing. Thank you for growing with us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn. We have our two guests still with us, and I would like to pose a question to both of our guests. So, to the guests, Miss Cynthia and Miss Laura, I know Miss Cynthia, you're very active in various organizations and groups and things. And so my question to both of you, have either one of you made arrangements to become a member of the North Carolina Brain Injury Advisory Council?
No, not yet. I've been asked to, but I haven't done it yet. Just like I've been asked to join the CFAT council as well, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay, I asked that question because I do believe I saw you virtual on one of the Brain Injury Advisory Council meetings, because I attended
Yes.
in person and you was on virtually. So you
Yes.
attended just as a resident.
Yes, I attend virtually whenever I'm able to.
Okay, great. I know Ms. Laura gonna get some paperwork in. I know that for a fact. If any of you need help with that, don't hesitate to email me, give me a call. We'll make it happen.
Okay, thank you.
Because
We both appreciate it.
Because I know the Lord Jesus worked tremendously in both of your lives, and you will be an asset to the organization.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm still planning to work on that. My husband is recovering from his seventh back surgery, and we've had some issues to try to work on, and I've had to take on a little bit of extra to help him. And I do want to share this. One time it was pretty challenging. And one day, I believe in prayer, and I know we all believe in prayer, and the Lord hears us. So I got my list together and I started asking the Lord. I said, Lord, are you ready to hear what I've got to say that you need to fix about my husband? And I'm not exaggerating. I heard a voice say back to me, what about you?
That's right. That's right.
I completely forgot my list because then I realized that God had issues with me and that I needed to look inside myself first and pray for him. And that was a real wake up call for me because I could see my own suffering, but I had a hard time seeing his and facing that, and God giving me that answer
Mm-hmm.
was an eye opener.
Yeah. Is what you needed.
It was exactly what I needed. And so now, like yesterday, he gave me flowers, but that took years of rebuilding the respect and
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding trust and me saying, I'm not going to argue to be right anymore. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
understand you. And when he
Right.
heard me say that, I saw the change. And
Very
he
good.
finally realized, I think, that she's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wonder sometimes he would keep repeating things over and over. It kind of sounds like a little bit like Cynthia, maybe your mom feels like she's not being heard. And so he would say things and get more and more insistent. And I did finally have the opportunity to say, I'm really trying to understand you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We have 5
And
minutes
he's now
remaining for
saying the
today's
same thing to me.
broadcast. Did you hear me? We have
Yeah.
5 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. Apostle.
Yes, I just wanted to say you'll always see me jotting down some things over here on my sticky notes. I'm always having my sticky notes because I'm listening to what you guys are saying. And I wanted to say here that as I was listening to both of your stories, it seems like one of the biggest messages that I'm taking from this today is that acceptance is important. I heard
Yes.
that theme over and over again, that acceptance is important, that you be just accepted for where you are in life and for your abilities that you have now.
Yes.
That acceptance is important. So I'm going to take from that this, and I also want to say to both of you ladies before we end this broadcast, and I wrote this down just a minute ago, that a lot of people would have given up after going through what you've been through and going out one day and just living life, and then all of a sudden you're in an accident and now your whole life has changed. Your dynamics and everything have, it's almost like it is that you've been through a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And then instead of letting it cripple you, you've let it empower you. When I see, you talking about the things and the places and the doors that have opened up for you, it takes something to get up and go through those doors. And not
Yes.
everybody is willing to go through those doors after going through something painful.
That's why I try to encourage people. Like, I don't try to make everyone feel like they can do it, but I try to let them know you can do anything you put your mind to it
Mhm.
and take things one day at a time.
Yes, thank you so much. Miss Laura, do you want to give any advice to people that may be going through a traumatic brain injury or something traumatic period.
Yes, just keep going. Don't give up on your loved one. And like I said, I'm 15 years out and keeping the door open because we love each other. And we had some real traumatic moments, but now we are it's God's healing. God's healing us. And I'm so grateful to y'all for the opportunity to share. Thank y'all so much.
And I want to thank you too, Miss Laura, for bringing in the aspect of a husband, because being a wife, it's a totally it could be a different play. It could be a different field than just when you're single. So I enjoy hearing you talk about your marriage and how God has kept you together, and that's a very powerful thing. And I'm going to advise you to advise Dr. Glenn to get with the program and get himself a wife.
I'm allergic.
He says he's allergic.
I will consider caller in. Caller, you're live on air on the Glenn Johnson Show. You have a comment or question?
I'm gonna say it in a hurry. Just the Pepperman calling right at the last minute again, but I encourage y'all to keep on doing what you're doing because your show is very, very educational. My heart goes out to your guest today, and just to encourage you, to let you know that God is still with you. Y'all have an awesome show, and I think you got the right name for the radio, Awesome Radio.
Thank you very much.
The good word.
Thank you very much, caller. Tell me our favorite caller, the Pepperman. But I want to take to our two guests before they go. I enjoy you being on today with us, and I will talk to you once I get out to my car. Apostle, you want to end the broadcast?
Yes, I want to say thank you, ladies, so much for coming on. You have given a wealth of information to our audience, and I am blessed to meet both of you and see you again, Miss Laura, and also to meet you, Miss Cynthia. We are so glad that you came on, and we will be inviting you back again. So we just want to bid you, ladies, to have a very blessed day, and we want to say to our audience, come on back here next week. We will be right back here Wednesday at 3 o'clock with more subject matter and more things and more interesting topics. I want to say thank you to the Pepperman. That's one of our favorite callers. He calls to encourage us, and I know that there's been some good things on today. Hey, come back here next week. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams, and we will be right here in this place next week. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer. See you again next week. God bless you all.
Thank you again.
God bless you. Thanks again.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome.
There will be a bishop installation service honoring Pastor James D. Corbett. It will be held March 29th at Greenville Community Christian Church. Doors will open at 5 p.m. and the service will begin promptly at 6 o'clock